Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to TAKWEEN new webinar, and is co-hosted by American Corner Suleimania. This is Amin Hadid speaking and presenting the new webinar titled How to Avoid 10 Mistakes Made by Startups. And I hope it will be fruitful for startup founders and startup enthusiasts. Before we start, I'd like to highlight that you can all ask questions in the chat box, and it will be active since we will have enough time for answering all of your questions during this webinar. Also, I want to mention that this is live. We are live now on social media. You can all join us through Zoom or social media channels. Also, I want to mention that for those of you who finish the survey that we will send you, then you can get a certificate of attendance by TAKWEEN Accelerator. Are you all excited? So let's get started. So let's remind you of that there will be certificates for all of you who can finish the survey that is going to be at the end of the session. So questions that can be, we'll give you some of the questions in the beginning so that you can listen carefully to what we will give you and teach you in this session. So questions will regard these things are in the screen. It's about number one mistake, finding innovative ideas, product market fit, and push versus pull. So listen carefully to the session. There will be questions regarding these mentioned questions. Also, we need to know that incomplete answers were not considered. So we'll ask you to complete the question so that you can request your certificate. So why did we make this session? Because we see that there is a highest 5-year survival rate for new business is barely 51%. Founders of previously successful businesses have a 30% chance of success with their next venture. So it's a very, very slow, very low rate of success for experienced entrepreneurs. There is also 82% of successful business owners admit they have the right qualifications and backed up by experience to run a company, even with limited cash flow. So paying attention to your customers is important, since 14% of startups fail due to not regarding customers' needs, which I think we will gonna start by this problem. About 19% of the startups fail because of this. So here we are. Number one mistake is no market need, or founders tend to build a product that no one wants. So on innovation, let's think about innovation in another way. I see startup founders think that they should make a product that is very different to what is offered in the marketplace. So they might invent a new product, but suddenly they will be shocked that no one wants their product, or the product they built is invaluable. So to think and summarize on innovation, there are 3 ways to come up with ideas or to solve problems that is worth solving. First, many startups failed to build an innovative product or service by providing a solution to a problem worth solving. Let's start with the first thing. The first idea is to disrupt the market. So you might heard of disruptive innovation or disruption. So we mean disruptive is like you are offering a product that is affordable to a large segment of customers, where it is an alternative for a luxurious product. So think of Airbnb to what have disrupted the hotel market, hotel reservation market. So they have done a disruption to the market. They have provided job to be done. People wanted to book reservation or accommodation when there is full accommodation in a city. So they were solving a problem, a specific problem, to a wider and larger customers segment that is affordable and accessible by these segments. Number two, think of market problems. So there is already a market and a product, and these products have flaws in them. So you have to think about what are these flaws and how can you build a better product? How can you improve an existing product or a service? Think of Land Cruiser. It's a great example. So Land Cruiser was built since the 50s, and still now, every year, it's being improved year after year. So it's a great example how you can build a better product. We call it a sustaining innovation. Last but not least, we're talking about technology. You're all obsessed by Silicon Valley. You're all obsessed by the new innovations and breakthroughs that is gonna change the world. We call it revolutionary innovation. So you can see that there is a very high-tech solutions that might not be valuable in the meantime, or you cannot imagine how can this technology turn into a profitable idea in the future. But this can be a very large opportunity in the future. So people and customers who are targeted in this technology need to be educated. So let's give you an example of what a breakthrough technology. You can see that there is the blockchain, and now you can see its applications, and Bitcoin is one of them. Number two, being too attached to the solution. So I see people get in love with their idea. I see people that are very stuck in the idea. We like it. We really make it the best. We try to make it as perfect as possible, so that we think that the customers they need it like this, as we think. But on value creation, we need to do market research. This is a very common mistake every entrepreneur make. So please take your time, do your market research, and take notes, do some interviews with your customers, and then do lots of testing. Test over and over and over. You cannot assume that you know better than your customers. After all, you are building products for customers, not for yourself. And then apply what you have learned and what you have tested to a new prototype, an MVP, a product that is ready to be sold with minimum features in it, so that they can barely sense that this is valuable and they can pay you money in exchange. overestimating, it's a huge problem. I see founders, they are obsessed with the sticky notes, with charts, with the plannings. They plan every time. They do plans every time. And when it comes to implement these plans, they see themselves confused and they feel dizzy. So why? Because they have too much expectations of getting results. So on planning, we give you a small hint. You need evidence-based forecast. You need some data that is collected by working and engaging with customers, so that you know that you have a real evidence over what you are assuming. Assumptions alone are a good start, but can ruin your startup from the beginning if you are not aware of how you are using data by your side. So always expect less, put plannings alongside your implementation, but focus on data collected and put forecast based on these data. Number 4, 2 independency. Me, myself, and I mindset. We see people that always, I am the founder. I am the person behind this idea. It's my work. I know nobody who can help me to raise funds, to build a product, or hire talent, or whatever of these sentences that we can hear over and over and over. So on network and relations, it's a great perspective you have if you think about what can I give for others in order for them to join us and to join me in my vision and my idea. Because we are not always thinking about ourselves. We think of how can we give and give and give, then we take. So always successful entrepreneurs say always bring something to the table. Always offer something in a return for what you can have. Or they can see it's a great strategy to have a win-win negotiation and win-win strategy. Confusing marketing for sales. So which one is perfect? Push versus pull. So here's a story. If you want to catch up a butterfly, you either pursue it, holding a net in your hand, or simply build a garden with a specific type of flowers to attract these butterflies. So sales and marketing are both important, and they should be integrated together to get you better results. So communication is one of the huge, it's a huge foundation of your business, alongside the financials and the operations and the rest of the business systems. So if you are not be able to communicate through sales or marketing in the right manner, then everything will be affected. Mistake number 6, shiny object syndrome. So most of you want to be entrepreneurs. They are always, have high expectations of success just because they saw other people or other businesses have succeeded in their business. So just they replicate or copy of what other successful businesses or companies, and they think it's going to be a great opportunity for themselves. So just because other businesses have succeeded, that doesn't mean you have the chance to succeed. So if everybody is rushing to Bitcoin, that doesn't mean you are going to make lots of money or tons of money doing the same. So we call it on positioning. You have to choose a market that you are passionate about. You have skills, you have the expertise, and you have a potential to grow into that market. So there is a great proverb says, in a gold rush, don't dig for gold, sell shovels. Don't compete. Try to offer a different thing because the need is different. Think of something that is valuable and you can do for others, and to succeed, to build an outstanding brand starting from this offering. So let's answer some of these questions. So Dana asked about, could you please explain more about push and pull? Yeah, sure. We mean push and pull. So you see, when you go to a shop, a clothes shop, some of them, they will say, please let me show you some of our new brands that we have this week. So they are pushing you they are asking you to enter their store in a sales perspective. On the contrary, you can see that marketing campaigns on social media or via TV, that there is a story that pull you inside, that attract you to their business. So salespeople always ask questions. Marketers are telling stories. So this is push versus pull. Great question. Stake number 7, last-minute decisions. Some of the founders tend to be trend-cautious decision makers. So they wait for an occasion so that they can make the decision. Or we call it hope marketing. We hope the market to grow so that we can do X of activities. Or we think that this trend will affect the business. We will wait for something to happen, then we'll do something. We advise you to think smart. Think about how to put smart goals, which are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. And track these goals over a period of time. And you can use different metrics to choose how much progress have you made so far. So you either split it by phases or by time through months or weeks. There is a question by Muhammad. He says, they are all true, but how to find the best business that is the most reliable and effective for me? So as we said in the first place, in the first mistake, you can start by either finding a big market that has a problem, or finding that is a luxurious product in the marketplace. You can build an alternative that is affordable and accessible by a lot of people, or building a breakthrough technology. You can start by leveraging your own skills, matching these markets. So you might have programming or developing apps skills, you can leverage these. Or you can have a public speaking and public relation skills, you can use that to make an agency that can fit a market if you have seen there is an opportunity in that market. Mistake number 8, excuses versus execution. There are lots of things that are very common among startup founders, especially here in Iraq. We see people, startup founders tend to be procrastinators, perfectionists. Some of them are pessimists. So why it's happening? I know there are their own excuses, their own root causes. So some of the founders give excuses for every job they should do. So I'll do it next week, not today. The deadline is due next week or 2 weeks. So we heard a lot of these things. You know what? I think our product needs more features, or just like it needs more features before we launch it to the mass market. These things are for perfectionists that can hold you back, and it's a self-limiting beliefs that hold you from success. Or if you hear some of these startup founders who are pessimists, oh, you know, the economy is very bad. The dollar-dinar currency exchange rate is so high, and so on. You can see lots of things. Please take action. Please do not wait to something to be better. You do have to solve problems, not wait for others to solve your own problems. Take action. Mistake number 9. I don't have enough capital, time, talent. So people will always just like, what if I have $100,000, $1 million to start a business? I wish I have this number of money, or I should, or I will, if I am where, if I have all the resources, I will do X. You are not having a problem of resources. It's about lack a problem of resourcefulness. So what do we mean by resourcefulness? It's about what you can do with what you have already right now. So it's all about your skills, your current relationships, your network. Maybe they can give you this capital. Maybe they can, if you have some problem with these resources, you should work with these resources in the meantime. There's a question by Dana. Imagine we complete the idea, everything is okay in the field of technology, but you will reach a point, you will realize that you need money or support. How can we find support? Okay, it's a great question. Here in Iraq, there are different kinds of support. There are cash or capital. There is in-kind support. They can give you services in exchange of equity or having a stake or a percentage of your business in exchange for these resources. Also, there is investments. Investing industry is growing in Iraq, but it's still shy in the meantime. But businesses need also to grow so that they can meet certain requirements to get these investments. But there is also another form of support, which are NGOs grants. Can be supported. You can get $10,000 to $30,000 in grants, you should not give any equity or a percentage in exchange for getting this support. How can you get that? You can easily be ready first and approach these grantors or investors differently. Great question. So mistake number 10, being an entrepreneur. Just like imagine a founder who was the different arms of an octopus doing multitasking. So multitasking can burn you easily. You will wear different hats: chief marketing officer, chief executive officer. Some of the founders cannot let other people take some of these responsibilities off their shoulders. We need you to delegate some of these responsibilities as you grow. At the start, you don't need to have all these tasks done by other people. It's okay, you can do some of these tasks. But when you grow, you need people to help you. So you need to build a team around a purpose. They can believe it's a great purpose, so they can join you. Versus you can also depend on yourself, being a heropreneur. You will be burned by multitasking. So here is an example of how can you hire people who are diversified in terms of experience and knowledge, so that they can help you doing other things you are not excel at. So always delegate, delegate, delegate. We have a famous proverb that is saying, do your best and delegate the rest. So take the responsibility that you think you are the best at and delegate what can make you a headache to other people who are very passionate about, and they are excellent at doing so. So you will get, after this session, a post survey about these questions. If you complete these questions, then you will be offered a certificate of attendance by TAKWEEN and the American corner. So here we will give you an opportunity to ask questions before the end of the session. Yeah, so Dana asked, can you suggest some NGOs for support for startup project if it's possible? Yeah, sure. There are lots of opportunities offered by NGOs like IOM. They have a program called EDF. And there is another program by incubators. You can search about incubators in your region. You can apply to these incubators to get support in terms of money, training, and advisory. Dunya, founders have a hard time finding good employee. How can we deal with this problem? Yeah, it's a huge problem, Dunya. The main problem from my side, I think, startup founders are not paying enough money for employees. That's why they are not happy to join startups, or you are not giving them the value they need in terms of the money, also the space, or the long-term job security. Because as we said in the first place, startups tend to have high failure rate. That's why they seek, the employees seek security. So you need to offer them some incentives so that you can keep them and hire them for a long time. Great question. Muhammad Ibrahim, what about location of the business? How can we decide? The location of the business, it's about where your customers are located. So you are opening your business in the area of your customers so they can easily access your product. Or you can go after them by different distribution channel. So imagine Coca-Cola, they have a huge logistic and distribution channels all over the globe. So they go after their customers in every country. So think about delivery. Maybe you can use motorcycles, cars, or trucks to distribute your products, or you build a store next to or near the area of your customers. Ahmed, he has a question in Arabic. ماذا يجب أن أفكر قبل إنشاء شركة? So I'll answer you in Arabic. قبل أن تبدي شركة لازم تفكر هل هذا السوق كبير بالكفاية؟ هل أكو ناس تدفع فلوس مقابل هذه الخدمة أو هذا المنتج؟ إذا حالياً ماكو إقبال على أو دفع مبالغ كبيرة خلال السنة الواحدة مقابل هذا المنتج، إذا معناها ماكو حاجة لهذا المنتج. وبالتالي راح تبني منتج أو تصنع منتج ما له قيمة. فأول شيء لازم تفكر إنه لازم أكو سوق لهذا المنتج بمعنى له حاجة. سؤال جيد جدا. دنيا, can we go over mistake number 2? As I didn't quite got it. Thank you. Okay, we can go back. Yeah, mistake number 2, it's being too attached to the solution. You love your idea, but to build a valuable product, a product that people will start buying from you after you are producing your product, is you have to do market research. You have to know that there is a market you are currently offering in, and there is a need in the market. So that's why you see people opening restaurants and cafes, because lots of people are paying for these services. There is a big market. That's why even though there is a huge competition, the market is still growing and there is a room for everybody. So always think about how can I find a great market that I am passionate about. I like to enter this market, plus I have skills that I tend to offer to this market. So start by doing market research, then have some brainstorming and ideas, then test these ideas. Show the customers that these products show in events, in your university, in front of your customers, and learn from your customers what are they currently saying about your product. If they will pay for that, then you have an evidence that this is gonna grow and can make money off. And then apply these learning and these data to your to the final product before you launch your product. I hope I answered your question. So finally, I would like to thank all of you to join us today for this session. And I would like to thank the American Corner Suleimania to co-host this session. Also, I want to give you a last and final reminder that you should complete the final survey so that you can get your attendance certificate. Thank you all and have a nice day. Bye.